Hi guys, this week we're going to talk about crafting dialogue. So what does that mean? Dialogue itself, a lot of people when they say, I want to write great dialogue, what they're hoping to write is something very, they're thinking Quentin Tarantino, they're thinking Aaron Sorkin. They want to be remembered for having lots and lots of fast, witty dialogue, and that's great. If that's what you want to do, all good for you. But if you want to make what I believe to be good dialogue, it's when it's based on people. It's not there to be admired like gymnastics. That's when you're saying, hey, look at my craft. Look how clever I am at writing this fantastic dialogue. Well, what I'd like to say is how can we craft dialogue to get your story across? Now, dialogue, a lot of dialogue can be visual as well. So this is sort of following on from one of my more popular videos, which is the Show Don't Tell video. I will link it on the end. It'll be one of the videos at the end. And what I'm also going to do at the end, there's some people you have to watch. A YouTube channel called The Behavior Panel. I'll put them up here. Amazing, because what they'll teach you is the visual aspects of a person telling story. A lot of this is going to be acting or performed, but what you can also do is mention it in your action lines. Craig makes a point. Staring, not losing eye contact, in a hope that the people watching will believe. Now, that was a bit of action. It's the acting, but when you read it, you go, oh, I understand what that's going to look like. That's going to be one of those mindless stares. So you can put action in your dialogue, which will make your dialogue more compelling. It's part of crafting the overall dialogue. So I'm going to look at some basic emotions and how these emotions come across in dialogue. And at the very end of this video is going to be a very small part by Mark Bowden, who's one of the behavior panelists, and watch it. It's very funny, but it also lets you understand how actions feed into your dialogue. Okay, happiness. So in happy dialogue, think of the happy actions that people do when they are happy in their dialogue. They'll be more talkative. They'll confirm what the other person's saying if they're happy in their conversation. So someone will say like, oh, I was speaking to Jim the other day. Oh, Jim, yeah, I love Jim. Jim's such a great guy. So they do a lot of confirmational type dialogue. They'll smile a lot more. They'll laugh in their confirmation. So at the start of the dialogue, you can put giggles, laughs, like slaps the air, all those sorts of things. Can hardly get the words out. The smile on his face is so big. So that's action, but they're also speak in a higher tone. They'll use shorter words like, yeah, oh yeah, I know, yep, great. I'm really, and they'll speak quickly too. So you can put a lot of dialogue in and just put in the parentheses, quickly. And this is all happy type dialogue. They confirm, they go back and forth. You'll get that due dialogue, yep, I understand, yep, of course. I like that. You'll get all those sorts of things happening with happy dialogue. Next, sad. They won't be able to form words. They'll do a lot of the stutter. They'll also look down. They'll speak slower. They'll hunt for a word, because sadness brings about a loss of happiness. It's not a standard emotion for people, sadness. So they will be a little bit lost in their thinking and how they speak. They may cry if they're really sad. They may be hopeless. They may actually get across those terms. They may say, I've lost hope. I don't know what to do. Not many people say, I am sad. I haven't heard a lot of people say, I'm really sad. They'll say, I'm sad about that. Or I'm sorry that you've lost someone. I feel sad for you. But in their dialogue, they will tend to speak slower, look down, speak down, not engage in conversation. People will speak to them and they'll just go along. A lot of non-verbal stuff, lots of yeah, okay. Single words. in response. Sad people don't really want to engage. The next one is lying. This is the fun one to write, and it's a lot more visual stuff as well as dialogue stuff and lying. They'll add a lot of facts liars. When a person's lying to you, they will add a whole lot of stuff in. So if I've turned around and said like, hey, I've been told that you went out on Friday night when you told me you were gonna stay in. And I'll go, no, of course I stayed in. That's what most people say. But if they're lying, they go, no, I stayed in. I watched Netflix. You know, the thing not Netflix. It could be on one of those other services. It's written by Craig Mazin, the guy who wrote Chernobyl. It's based on a video game. It's really good. It's got Pedro Pascal in it. You know that he's never been in a show that hasn't got like an 89 on Rotten Tomatoes. They just keep flooding stuff in. They over talk. They add more facts. And well, they'll also do a thing that the behaviour panel guys, or Greg there, talks about a thing called chaff and redirect. When a missile's going through a plane, it'll throw stuff at the back of the plane and hopefully redirect the missile. So they'll do the same thing. They will throw something out there that takes you to the other side. Like, you went out Friday night, I said you were staying home. Well, yeah, well, I said that. Well, remember when we were going to go to that party? And we did that, and then suddenly they're taking the conversation over there away from this, did you go out Friday night? The other one they'll also do is they'll ask you, or they'll ask the person, why would you think that? You said you were going to stay home Friday night, but I heard you went out. What makes you think I went out? Why would I even tell you that I was going to stay home when I planned on going out? That's ridiculous. Why would someone do that? People don't do that. People don't say they're going to stay home and then go out. That's pointless. And they'll also, if they're going to say something, they won't say the word. They listen, they deflect. So if we're talking about you're in a murder mystery, an innocent person, this is from the behaviour panel, will say, oh, I did not kill that person. A murder happened in that room. Or when they say, well, back 3 months ago when he was murdered, they'll say, back when the incident happened. They don't want to say the word because they feel it's attached to them. They don't want to say the word murder. They don't want to say the word kill. So they'll say the incident. They'll say back then. And they'll also be overly polite. So you said you were going to go out. You weren't going to go out Friday night, but you went out Friday night. Oh, come on. Yes, well, I mean, you understand this. You're a lovely guy. Now listen, Steve, sir. It's not one of those things where people would, they're overly polite. They use the longer words. And they'll agree, yes, I understand you're a great person. Yes, sir, I understand, sir. I'm very sorry, sir. Or they also will do worse things. They'll belittle the bad thing they've done now by saying something worse. I'm sorry, yes, I did say I was going to stay home, but I went out. But come on, this is pretty small. I had a drug problem for 7 years, and you're worried that I went out on Friday night when I shouldn't have gone out on Friday night? Like, we're talking about an ex-drug addict here who used to rob and steal, and look at all that. Look at all the bad stuff I used to do. And they'll do that. They'll sort of go, well, compared to how evil I used to be, don't worry about this. This is nothing. They'll belittle when they're caught, and they'll try to take you away from the facts when they're lying to you. Scared people. Scared dialogue, they'll try not to engage with the thing that makes them scared. They'll avoid it. That's a bit like being sad. Short conversations. They don't want to bring back the thing that makes them scared. They'll avoid it. If I don't want to tell you something, if I'm desperately scared that once you find out that this is my phone, that you're going to lose your mind and set a bomb off. But I've got to tell you that because there's a message I know that you have to read. I'll beat around the bush. I'll say, look, and I'll try to maybe hose down the gravity of your anger. It'll be a case of, look, I don't know how to tell you this. And they'll preempt. I really don't want to upset you. But I don't want to upset you because I worry about you, and this is going to be, you know, I don't want you to go off the deep end because you may do something you regret later. I'm really sorry, but like, this is my phone. But I know this is going to upset you, but there's something on here you really have to read, because I'll try to make it about them, and I'll try to avoid their anger. I'll also be very polite. Like, I understand. You know, you're 100% right. Whatever you say is going to be correct. I'm really sorry. Yes, you're 100%. Yes, you know. And this is a person who's scared. They're polite. They're sad. They don't want to bring the anger of that person up. The last one is angry. And angry people, short, sharp, loud, talk over people. Anger is a lot of time about dominance. Like, I've just found out that you've stolen from me, and I want to hurt you as much as you've hurt me. Anger is retaliation. Anger is, you're going to do this, now listen here, I'm going to, and you're going to, and this is going to be the worst thing you've ever suffered, and I'm going to, and it's going to be loud, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that, and it sets your dogs off. Okay. Angry. We can continue now that the dogs have calmed down. Angry. Let's finish off with what can make people angry. Desperate, despair, things from sad go to anger. Remember, there's a progression through emotions. People don't go from here to there. That's just not how people actually work. People will go through a cycle of emotions. So what brings them to their angry dialogue? Were they sad? Were they lied to? Were they betrayed? But anger, like I said, is for dominance. It is to control. It is also, like I said, from desperation, for the need to get something changed. You're very angry that it's not happening. So they will talk sharp, they'll talk short, they will be loud, they will be forceful, they will cut people off. No, you're not saying that, we're doing this. So people are less likely to engage when they're angry. It's a one-sided conversations. Short, sharp, people tend not to rave in big, long things when they're angry. That tends to be when they're lying. They'll search, they'll look for things, they'll try to divert, they'll go here, they'll go there, they'll make things up. Well, you know, and they'll use longer vowels too. They'll say, well, you, come on, you know. They'll do that sort of stuff. I hope that's helped. Think about the emotion behind the dialogue when you're crafting the dialogue. Don't try to be the super witty, look how I've gone back and forth and it's like a sword fight. Think about the emotions that will tie into your characters. It'll make it more realistic and it'll help you craft better dialogue. So if you do these things, that is amazing. Love the comments. I'm going to actually put together some of the comments and I'll do a little reel on just comments because they've been very, very good. And here is Mark Bowden.
Sharp. In fact, sometimes I sustain it for a long time. Yeah? And this is a universal signal for, I recognise you, I know you, you're my friend, you're a friend of the family. You can do this walking down the street. You walk down the street like this and you go, hello. And literally, it triggers their primitive brain and they're like, oh, hey, good to meet you. When was it we last, yeah, no, it was last week, wasn't it? And yeah, how are the kids? And after about 5 minutes, they're like, so, where do I know you from? And you're like, you don't, bye-bye. And off you go. Fantastic. You can try this.